On a beautiful sunny afternoon in Chicago, Travis Kelce walked through the famous Millennium Park, enjoying the perfect weather, and something made him stop completely. There, near the iconic Cloud Gate, an 8-year-old girl held a bouquet of red roses with a shy smile on her face. But it was the sign hanging around her neck that really caught his attention. Selling roses to pay for my treatment. Travis was in the city for a charity, but he had no idea that this casual encounter would change not only that child's life, but also reveal a secret about his own family kept for years. What happened in the next few minutes went viral worldwide and proved that sometimes real heroes don't wear football uniforms. Travis had just finished a morning workout at a local gym and decided to take a peaceful walk through downtown Chicago before his afternoon commit. The NFL season was in full swing, and moments like these, away from the cameras and pressure, were precious to him. He wore a simple dark green t-shirt and jeans, trying to blend in with the crowd of tourists and locals enjoying the warm autumn day. As he approached Cloud Gate, the famous mirror sculpture that reflected the Chicago skyline, he noticed the small figure standing quietly to one side. The girl, who couldn't have been more than 8 years old, held a modest bouquet of red roses. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a simple pony, and she wore a clean white t-shirt that seemed a bit too big for her small frame. What immediately struck Travis wasn't just her young age, but the handwritten cardboard sign hanging from her neck with a piece of string. In careful, childish handwriting, it read, "Selling roses to pay for my treatment. $5. Thank you for helping me get better." The sight hit him like a physical blow. Here was this little girl, barely tall enough to reach his waist, trying to raise money for what was obviously a serious medical condition. Most people walked by without a second glance, absorbed in their phones or conversations, but Travis couldn't move. He approached slowly, not wanting to startle her. "Hey there, sweetheart," he said gently, crouching down to her eye level. "Those are some beautiful roses you've got there." The girl looked up at him with bright blue eyes that seemed too mature for her age. "Thank you, mister. Would you like to buy one? They're really fresh. My mom and I picked them out this morning." Her voice was soft but clear, with a slight tremor that suggested she wasn't entirely comfortable approaching strangers, but was doing it anyway out of necessity. "What's your name, honey?" Travis asked, his heart already beginning to ache for this brave little soul. "I'm Meadow," she replied with a small smile. "Meadow Richardson. And you look really familiar. Are you on TV or something?" Travis chuckled softly. "Something like that. I play football, but right now, I'm more interested in you and these gorgeous roses. Can you tell me about your treatment? Only if you want to, of course." Meadow's expression grew more serious, but she didn't seem sad about it. Instead, she spoke with the matter-of-fact tone that children often use when discussing things adults find devastating. "I have something called leukemia. It's a kind of cancer that makes me really tired sometimes, and I have to go to the hospital a lot for medicine. The medicine is really expensive, and my mom works 2 jobs, but it's still not enough. So I thought maybe I could help by selling these roses." Travis felt his throat tighten. This 8-year-old girl was out here in downtown Chicago, trying to raise money for her own cancer treatment. The courage and innocence of it was almost overwhelming. "Where's your mom now, Meadow?" he asked, looking around. "She's at her afternoon job at the coffee shop across the street." Meadow pointed to a small cafe visible from where they stood. "She doesn't know I'm here yet. I wanted to surprise her with the money I made." A chill ran down Travis's spine. This little girl had snuck away from home to sell roses for her cancer treatment, wanting to surprise her hard-working mother. The situation was both heartbreaking and incredibly dangerous. "Meadow, sweetheart, does your mom know where you are right now?" Travis asked gently, but with growing concern. The girl's cheeks flushed slightly pink. "Well, not exactly, but I left her a note, and I promised I'd stay right here by the Big Bean thing and not go anywhere else. I'm being really careful, I promise." Travis realized he was dealing with a runaway situation, albeit one motivated by the purest intentions. His mind raced between admiration for this child's determination and panic about her safety. "How long have you been here, honey?" "About 2 hours," Meadow said proudly. "I've sold 3 roses so far. One lady gave me $10 and told me to keep the change. People are really nice." 3 roses in 2 hours. Travis's heart broke a little more. This brave little girl had been standing here for 2 hours, and most people had simply walked past her desperate plea for help. "Meadow, I'm going to buy all of your roses," Travis said suddenly. every single one. How many do you have there?" Her eyes widened in disbelief. "All of them." "But mister, that's 20 roses. That would be $100. Are you sure?" "I'm absolutely sure," Travis said, already reaching for his wallet. "But first, we need to call your mom and let her know you're safe. She's probably worried sick about you." As he spoke, Travis noticed something that made his blood run cold. Across the park, a man in a dark jacket had been watching their interaction for several minutes. When Travis looked in his direction, the man quickly looked away and started walking toward them. "Meadow," Travis said quietly, "I need you to stay very close to me right now, okay?" But before the girl could respond, the approaching stranger called out, "Excuse me, is everything all right here?" The man was middle-aged, with unkempt hair and clothes that looked like he'd been sleeping rough. His eyes were focused intently on Meadow, and something about his demeanor set off every alarm bell in Travis's head. "Everything's fine," Travis replied firmly, positioning himself protectively in front of Meadow. "I couldn't help but notice this little girl has been here alone for quite a while," the man continued, stepping closer. "Where are her parents? Seems dangerous for a kid to be out here by herself with all that cash." Travis felt Meadow's small hand grab onto the back of the stranger's interest in the money she'd collected was making both of them uncomfortable. "Her mother is nearby," Travis said, his voice taking on a warning tone that anyone who knew him from the football field would recognize. "And she's not alone anymore." The man seemed to size up Travis for the first time, noting his athletic build and confident stance. After a tense moment, he shrugged and walked away, but not before glancing back at Meadow one more time. "That man was scary," Meadow whispered. "He's gone now," Travis assured, but his protective instincts were now in full alert mode. This little girl selling roses alone had already attracted the wrong kind of attention, and who knew how many other predators might have noticed her vulnerable situation. "Meadow, we're going to go see your mom right now," he said decisively, "and then we're going to talk about your treatment and figure out how to really help you." As they walked toward the coffee shop, Travis had no idea that this encounter was about to uncover a connection that would change both their lives forever. The roses clutched in Meadow's small hands were about to become the catalyst for something much bigger than either of them could imagine. The coffee shop across from Millennium Park was a cozy little place called Brewster's Corner, with steamed-up windows and the rich aroma of freshly ground beans wafting out every time the door opened. Travis held Meadow's hand as they approached, his mind still reeling from the encounter with the suspicious stranger and the heartbreaking courage of this 8-year-old girl. Through the window, he could see a woman who was unmistakably Meadow's mother. She had the same blonde hair and delicate features, but her face looked worn with worry and exhaustion. She was behind the counter, moving quickly between the espresso machine and cash register, serving a steady stream of afternoon customers. "There's my mom," Meadow said excitedly, pointing. "Her name is Bryn. She's the best mom in the whole world, even when she's really tired." As they entered the cafe, the bell above the door chimed, and Bryn Richardson looked up automatically to greet the new customers. When she saw her daughter walking in hand with a large, unfamiliar man, her face went white with terror. "Meadow!" she called out, her voice cracking with panic. She immediately abandoned the customer she was serving and rushed around the counter. "Baby, what are you doing here? And who—" She stopped mid-sentence as she recognized Travis Kelce. "Mrs. Richardson," Travis said quickly, seeing the fear in her eyes. "Your daughter is absolutely safe. My name is Travis Kelce, and I found Meadow selling roses in the park. She told me she was trying to help with her medical expenses." Bryn's relief at seeing her daughter safe was immediately replaced by embarrassment and a new kind of panic. "Oh my God, Meadow, you didn't. Please tell me you didn't go out there alone." She knelt down and hugged her daughter tightly, her hands shaking. "I'm sorry, Mommy," Meadow said, her brave facade finally cracking. "I just wanted to help. I know the hospital bills make you cry sometimes when you think I'm sleeping." The simple honesty of the child's words hit both adults like a physical blow. Bryn closed her eyes and took a deep breath, clearly fighting back tears. "Mrs. Richardson," Travis said gently, "is there somewhere we can talk? I'd really like to understand your situation better." Bryn looked around the busy cafe. I can't leave work. I'll get fired. This is my second job today, and I need both of them to—" She trailed off, looking overwhelmed. "Actually," came a voice from behind the counter, "you can take a break, Bryn. I've got this covered." An older woman with gray hair and kind eyes had emerged from the back room. She was wearing an apron that identified her as the manager. "Mrs. Patterson, I can't afford to," Bryn started. "Honey, you've been working doubles for 3 months straight. Take 30 minutes. The world won't end." The manager's tone was firm but caring, and she gave Travis a knowing look. And if I'm not mistaken, this conversation might be important. They settled into a corner booth, away from the other customers. Meadow sat close to her mother, still clutching her bouquet of roses, while Travis sat across from them, trying to process everything he was learning about this family's struggle. "I want to apologize," Bryn began, her voice tight with embarrassment. "Meadow shouldn't have been out there alone. I had no idea she was planning this. I work the morning shift at a medical office, then come here for the afternoon shift. I thought she was at our neighbor's apartment doing homework. Mrs. Patterson lets me stay in the back room sometimes when Mom is working," Meadow added. "But today, I really wanted to help, so I snuck out." Travis studied Bryn Richardson carefully. She was probably in her early 30s, but the stress of her situation had aged her. Her hands were rough from hard work, and despite her obvious exhaustion, she maintained a dignity that impressed him. "Can you tell me about Meadow's condition?" he asked gently. Bryn's composure wavered for a moment. She was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia 8 months ago. The treatment protocol is aggressive but effective. Her doctors are optimistic, but she paused, struggling with the words, "The cost is astronomical. Even with insurance, we're looking at tens of thousands of dollars in out-of-pocket expenses." "What about Meadow's father?" Travis asked, then immediately regretted the question when he saw pain flash across Bryn's face. "He left when she was 2, she said simply. "Couldn't handle the responsibility. It's been just us ever since, and we've been fine. But this medical situation, it's beyond anything I ever prepared for." Travis felt a familiar anger rising his chest. He'd grown up in a loving family where his parents would have moved mountains for their children. The idea of a father abandoning his sick child made him physically ill. "What kind of treatment is Meadow receiving?" he asked. "Chemotherapy, primarily. She goes to Children's Memorial Hospital 3 times a week. The doctors say she's responding well, but she'll need treatment for at least 2 more years, maybe longer." See, Bryn's voice was getting smaller as she spoke, as if saying the words out loud made the reality more crushing. "The worst part," she continued, "is that I had to quit my full-time job because of all the medical appointments. These 2 part-time jobs barely cover our basic living expense, let alone the medical bills that keep coming." Travis looked at Meadow, who was listening to all of this with the solemn attention of a child who had been forced to grow up too quickly. Her resilience extraordinary, but no 8-year-old should have to worry about paying for their own cancer treatment. "What's the total amount you need?" Travis asked. Bryn looked uncomfortable with the question. "Mr. Kelce, I appreciate your concern. I really do. But we'll figure this out. We always do. I just need Meadow to promise me she won't go out alone like that again. She could have been hurt, or—" "Mom," Meadow interrupted softly, "the nice man wants to help. And he already bought all my roses for $100. Travis reached into his wallet and pulled out 5 $20 bills, placing them on the table. "Actually, I think roses of this quality are worth a bit more than $5 each." Bryn stared at the money, and for a moment, Travis thought she might break down completely. "I can't accept this," she whispered. "It's too much." "Mrs. Richardson, with respect, your daughter stood alone in a public park for 2 hours trying to raise money for her cancer treatment. The least I can do is pay a fair price for her roses." His voice was gentle but firm. "And I'd like to do more than that." Before Bryn could respond, Travis's phone buzzed with a text message. He glanced at it and felt the blood drain from his face. It was from his brother Jason. "Hey, saw the news about the Richardson family in Chicago. Crazy coincidence that they have the same last name as Mom's family. Think there's a connection?" Travis's hands began to shake slightly as he looked up at Bryn and Meadow. "Mrs. Richardson, can I ask you a personal question? What is your maiden name?" "My maiden name?" Bryn looked confused by the sudden change of subject. "It's Richardson. I never changed it when I got married." "Why? And your family? Where are they originally from?" "Well, my grandfather was from Kansas originally, but the family scattered after—" Bryn stopped mid-sentence, studying Travis's face more carefully. Why are you asking me this? Travis felt like the world was tilting on its axis. His grandmother's maiden name had been Richardson, and she'd often talked about family members who had moved away from Kansas decades ago. Family members she'd lost touch with and always regretted not finding a Mrs. Richardson, he said slowly. I think we might be related. The words hung in the air like a bombshell. Meadow looked back and forth between the two adults, sensing the shift in energy, but not understanding it. That's impossible, Bryn said, but her voice lacked conviction. How could we possibly? My great-grandmother was a Richardson from Kansas. She used to tell stories about family members who moved away in the 1960s. She always regretted losing touch with them. Travis pulled out his phone. I need to make a call. But before he could dial, his phone rang. The caller ID showed his mother's name. Mom, he answered. Travis, honey, Jason just called me about some family named Richardson in Chicago. He said you're with them right now? His mother's voice was excited and breathless. I've been doing some research, and I think, oh honey, I think we found them. I think we found the family Grandma Rose always talked about. Travis looked across the table at Bryn and Meadow, his heart pounding. Mom, I'm going to put you on speakerphone. As his mother's voice filled the small corner booth, explaining family trees and old photographs and stories passed down through generations, the impossible became reality. Bryn Richardson and her daughter Meadow weren't just strangers in need. They were family, lost family that Travis's grandmother had spent years trying to find. But just as this miraculous discovery was sinking in, Travis's phone buzzed with another message that made his stomach drop. It was from an unknown number. Saw you with that little girl today. Pretty little thing. Shame if something happened to her. The message was accompanied by a photo taken from across the park, showing Travis and Meadow walking toward the coffee shop. The stranger from the park hadn't given up. He'd followed them, and now he was making threats. Travis looked up at his newfound family, realizing that finding them might have put them in more danger than ever. Travis stared at the threatening message on his phone, his blood running cold. The photo attached showed him and Meadow walking toward the coffee shop, taken from a distance, but clear enough to be menacing. His protective instincts, already heightened by the family revelation, now went into overdrive. What's wrong? Bryn asked, noticing the sudden change in his expression. You look like you've seen a ghost. Travis quickly turned his phone face down, not wanting to alarm Meadow. It's nothing urgent, he lied, his mind racing. But I think we should continue this conversation somewhere more private, somewhere safe. Safer? Bryn's maternal instincts immediately kicked in. What do you mean, safer? Travis, what's going on? Before he could answer, Mrs. Patterson approached their table with a concerned expression. Bryn, honey, there's a man outside who's been asking questions about you and Meadow. Says he's a reporter interested in doing a story about families struggling with medical costs. Travis's jaw tightened. What did he look like? Scruffy guy? Dark jacket? Needed a shave. Something about him didn't sit right with. So I told him I didn't know anything. Mrs. Patterson glanced toward the window. He's been out there for about 10 minutes, just watching the cafe. That was all Travis needed to hear. Mrs. Richardson, Bryn, we need to leave. Now. I don't understand, Bryn said, fear creeping into her voice. What's happening? There was a man in the park who took too much interest in Meadow when she was alone, Travis explained quickly. I thought he'd left, but apparently he followed us here. And now he's making threats. Bryn's face went white. Threats? What kind of threats? Travis showed her the message, shielding the phone from Meadow's view. Bryn read it and immediately reached for her daughter, pulling her close. Oh my God, she whispered. This is my fault. I should never have let her out of my sight. I should have. Hey, Travis interrupted firmly. This is not your fault. You're working 2 jobs to save your daughter's life. The only person at fault here is the creep who's targeting a sick child. Mom, what's wrong? Meadow asked, picking up on the adult's tension. Are we in trouble? No, sweetheart, Bryn said, trying to keep her voice steady. But we're going to go somewhere safe with Travis while we figure some things out. Mrs. Patterson leaned in closer. There's a back exit through the kitchen. You can get to the parking garage next door without being seen from the street. Travis nodded gratefully. Is your car here, Bryn? I don't have a car, she admitted, embarrassed. I take the bus to work. Okay. We'll take mine. Travis pulled out his keys. Mrs. Patterson, if that man comes in asking more questions, can you tell him you saw us leave in the opposite direction? Consider it done, the older woman said firmly. And Bryn, don't worry about your shift. Family emergencies come first. As they made their way through the kitchen toward the back exit, Travis's phone rang. It was his brother Jason. "Travis, where are you? Mom's been calling everyone in the family about this Richardson connection. She's beside herself with excitement." "Jason, I need you to listen carefully," Travis said, his voice low and urgent. "I'm with Bryn and Meadow Richardson right now, and we have a serious problem. Someone's been following them, making threats. I think they saw the money exchange, and now they're targeting them." "Are you serious? Do you need me to call the police?" "I'm thinking about it, but first I need to get them somewhere safe." They reached Travis's car, a black SUV with tinted window. "Can you meet us at my hotel? I'll explain everything when we get there." "On my way," Jason said without hesitation. As they pulled out of the parking garage, Travis kept checking his mirrors. A dark sedan seemed to be following them, staying about 3 cars back, but making the same turns they were making. "Bryn," he said, trying to keep his voice calm, "I need you to call the Chicago Police Department and report them. Tell them about the threatening message, the man following you, and that you're traveling with me to a safe location." "I don't understand how this happened so fast," Bryn said, her voice shaking as she dialed. "This morning we were just a normal family dealing with medical bills, and now someone's threatening my daughter. Unfortunately, predators look for vulnerable targets," Travis explained grimly. "A child alone with money makes an easy mark. But they picked the wrong family to mess with." As Bryn spoke to the police dispatcher, Meadow looked up at Travis from the back seat. "Are you really our cousin? Or something?" Despite everything happening, Travis smiled at her direct question. "It looks like we might be, sweetheart. Your great-great-grandfather and my great-grandfather were brothers. That makes us, let me think, third cousin, I believe." "Cool," Meadow said with the resilience that continually amazed. "I never had any cousins before. Does this mean you'll come to my birthday party? It's next month, and I'm having a unicorn theme." Travis felt his heart clench. This brave little girl, in the middle of being stalked by a dangerous stranger, was inviting him to her birthday party. "I wouldn't miss it for the world," he promised. His phone buzzed with another message from the unknown number. "Nice car. Easy to follow." Travis's hands tightened on the steering wheel. This creep was definitely following them, and he was getting bolder with his threats. He made a quick decision and pulled into the parking lot of a busy shopping center. "What are we doing?" Bryn asked, having finished her call with the police. "We're going to end this right now," Travis said, parking near the main entrance where there were plenty of people and security cameras. "I want you and Meadow to go into that Target store and stay near the customer service. Don't come out until I text you that it's safe." "Travis, no," Bryn protested. "You don't know what this person is capable of, and he doesn't know what I'm capable of," Travis replied, his voice carrying the confidence of someone who had faced down 300-pound defensive linemen. "I'll be fine, but I need to know you two are safe first." After Bryn and Meadow disappeared into the store, Travis waited. Sure enough, the dark sedan pulled into the parking lot and parked several spaces away. The same scruffy man from the park got out and began walking toward the Target entrance. Travis intercepted him halfway across the parking lot. "I think you and I need to have a conversation," Travis said, his imposing presence causing the man to stop short. Up close, the stranger looked even more unsavory. His clothes were dirty, his eyes were bloodshot, and he had the desperate look of someone who had nothing left to lose. "I don't know what you're talking about," the man said, but his voice lacked conviction. Travis held up his phone, showing the threatening messages. "Really? Because I have evidence that says otherwise." The man's demeanor suddenly shifted from defensive to aggressive. "You don't know who you're messing with, football boy. That little girl and her mom are going to make me a lot of money, one way or another." "What does that mean?" Travis demanded. "Rich families pay good money to get their kids back safely," the man sneered. "And that little girl with her sad story and pretty face, she's worth a fortune to the right buyer." Travis felt rage unlike anything he'd ever experienced. This wasn't just a random opportunist looking to steal some rose money. This was a predator who had been planning to kidnap and potentially traffic Meadow. "You're never going to get near that child again," Travis said, his voice deadly calm. "We'll see about that," the man replied, reaching into his jacket. But before he could pull out whatever weapon he was carrying, Travis's football training kicked in. He tackled the man to the ground with perfect form, pinning him face down on the asphalt while reaching for his own phone to call 911. "Help! Someone help me!" the man screamed, but his cries only drew the attention of security guards, who had been watching the confrontation on camera. "Police are on the way," one of the guards said, approaching cautiously. "We saw the whole thing on camera. This guy's been casing the parking lot for the last hour." As they waited for the police to arrive, Travis's phone rang. It was his mother again. "Travis, I've been doing more research on the Richardson family connection," she said excitedly. "You're not going to believe what I found." "Mom, now's not really a good time." "Honey, Bryn Richardson isn't just any distant relative. Her grandfather was Rose Richardson's nephew, the one Grandma Rose left money to in her will, the one we could never find to give him his inheritance." Travis felt the world spinning again. "What do you mean, inheritance?" "Your great-grandmother left $50,000 to be split among any Richardson family members we could locate. We've been holding that money in a trust for 15 years, waiting to find them. $50,000. Enough to cover Meadow's medical expenses, and then some. Enough to change their lives completely." But as Travis looked down at the predator now in police custody, he realized that money wasn't going to solve all of their problems. Finding his family had put them in danger, and he was going to have to figure out how to protect them while also helping them heal. The police sirens were getting closer, and Travis could see Bryn and Meadow watching anxiously from inside the store. He waved to let them know everything was okay, but deep down, he knew this was just the beginning of their challenge. Because as the arresting officers were putting the would-be kidnapper in their patrol car, Travis heard him make one final threat. "You think this is over? I got friends who know about that kid now? Rich football player with a sick little cousin? This is just getting started." 3 hours later, Travis sat in the Chicago Police Department's downtown precinct, giving his statement while Bryn and Meadow waited in a family room down the hall. The would-be kidnapper, Marcus Dillon, had a lengthy criminal record including stalking, attempted kidnapping, and association with human trafficking ring. Detective Sarah Morales closed her notebook and looked at Travis seriously. "Mr. Kelce, Marcus Dillon wasn't just some random opportunist. He's connected to a larger network that specifically targets vulnerable families with sick children." "What does that mean for Bryn and Meadow?" Travis asked, though he dreaded the answer. "It means that even with Dillon in custody, they're not safe. These organizations share information, and now your cousin and her daughter are on their radar." Detective Morales leaned forward. "The fact that you're involved with your public profile and financial resources actually makes them more attractive target." Travis felt sick. His attempt to help had made them bigger target. "However, there are steps we can take. We can provide security details and help them relocate if necessary." "Relocate?" Travis's heart sank. He'd just found them. Detective Morales's phone buzzed, and she stepped out to take the call. When she returned, her expression was grim. "We have a problem." Dillon made his phone call and contacted someone he called the boss. He gave them details about your family situation, including your identity and Meadow's medical condition. "Are they going after my family in Kansas City?" "We don't know yet, but we've contacted Kansas City law enforcement. We're recommending increased security for your immediate family member." This was spiraling out of control. Travis walked to the family room where Meadow was coloring while Bryn sat beside her, looking exhausted. "How are you holding up?" he asked. "I keep thinking this is all a nightmare," Bryn admitted. "This morning I was worried about medical bills. Now I'm worried about kidnapper." "I'm sorry. This is my fault." "Stop," Bryn interrupted firmly. "If you hadn't gotten involved, that man would have taken Meadow from the park. You saved her life today." His phone rang. It was his mother. "Travis, thank God. Are you all right?" "We're safe, Mom, but it's complicated." "Honey, I need to tell you something important about the family inheritance. There's more to the story than just the $50,000. Travis put the phone on speaker. "What do you mean?" "Your great-grandmother owned property in Kansas City, a house and several acres that she left specifically to any Richardson family members we could locate. It's been sitting empty for 15 years. Bryn gasped. "Are you saying—" "You and Meadow have inherited a house, dear. A beautiful house in a gated community, about 20 minutes from where Travis lives. I have all the legal documents." Travis felt hope for the first time all day. "Mom, are you sure? The family attorney is preparing the paperwork now. If you want to relocate to Kansas City, you'll have a safe place to live while Meadow finishes her treatment." Bryn was crying, overwhelmed. How is this possible? Your great-aunt Rose never stopped looking for her family. She always said that family should take care of family. Detective Morales appeared in the doorway with an urgent expression. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have a developing situation. We've intercepted communications suggesting there's going to be an attempt to grab Meadow tonight. Multiple individuals are involved, and they know you're here. Travis stood immediately. How is that possible? We believe there's someone on the inside feeding information to this network. We need to move you to a secure location immediately. What about Kansas City? Bryn asked. That might be our best option. The farther from this network space, the safer you'll be. But we'll need to coordinate with Kansas City police. Travis made a quick decision. I'll call my private jet company. We can be in the air within 2 hours. A private jet? Meadow's eyes widened. I've never been on a plane before. Detective Morales was already coordinating with other officers. We'll escort you directly to the airport. Pack light. Anything you need can be replaced in Kansas City. As they prepared to leave, Travis's phone buzzed with another threatening message. Private jets can be tracked too. There's nowhere you can hide that little girl from us. Travis showed the message to Detective Morales, who immediately called for additional security. They're monitoring your communications somehow. From this point forward, all contact goes through secured police channels. The ride to the airport was tense, with police escorts front and back. Travis kept checking mirrors, but the streets seemed clear. It wasn't until they were boarding the jet that Detective Morales pulled Travis aside with disturbing news. Mr. Kelce, we've discovered something about Marcus Dillon's background. He wasn't randomly in that park today. He's been tracking families with sick children who are struggling financially. Meadow wasn't his first target. What do you mean? We found evidence suggesting he's been involved in at least 6 similar cases over the past 2 years. Families with vulnerable children, parents overwhelmed by medical bills, kids desperate enough to wander off trying to help. Travis felt sick. Are you saying there are other children who... We're working to locate them now, but this means even with Dillon in custody, there are other predators using the same method. Meadow's case might help us save other children, but the threat to your family is more extensive than we thought. As the jet prepared for takeoff, Travis looked out at the Chicago skyline, wondering how many other families were facing impossible choices. Meadow's courage had led to this discovery, but it had also revealed a network of evil with tentacles everywhere. Travis, Bryn's voice interrupted his thought. Is everything okay? He turned to see her and Meadow buckled in, Meadow's face pressed against the window as the city fell away. It's going to be, he promised, though he wasn't sure he believed it. His phone vibrated one more time. Enjoy Kansas City. We have friends there too, and we know exactly where Great Aunt Rose's house is located. They weren't flying toward safety. They were flying toward a trap. The private jet touched down at Kansas City International Airport just after midnight. Instead of the discreet security team Travis had arranged, the tarmac was swarming with FBI agents and local police. Agent Rebecca Martinez, a stern-faced woman in her 40s, approached as they descended. Mr. Kelce, I'm Agent Martinez with the FBI's Crimes Against Children Unit. We need to talk immediately. What's happened? Travis asked, moving protectively in front of Bryn and Meadow. We've uncovered the full scope of trafficking network. The house you inherited? It's been under surveillance by this criminal organization for months. They've been waiting for the Richardson family to claim it. Bryn gasped. How is that possible? Your great-aunt Rose's attorney had a gambling problem. He's been feeding information to criminal network about wealthy estate and inheritance situation. When families come to claim property, they become target. Travis felt the pieces clicking into place. So, this was never random. They knew about Meadow's medical situation, the inheritance, that we'd find each other. Exactly. They've been planning this operation for over a year. Marcus Dillon was just phase 1, getting eyes on the family. The real operation was supposed to happen once you brought them to Kansas City. Meadow, unusually quiet, suddenly spoke up. Are the bad men going to hurt my new family too? Her innocent question hit everyone like a physical blow. No, sweetheart, Travis said firmly, kneeling to her level. I promise, no one is going to hurt anyone in our family. Agent Martinez looked skeptical. Mr. Kelce, this isn't something you can handle alone. We're talking about a sophisticated criminal organization with resources across multiple states. Then what do you suggest? We use you as bait. Bryn immediately shook her head. Absolutely not. I won't put Travis at risk too. Mrs. Richardson, hear me out. Agent Martinez they're expecting you to go to that house. If you don't show up, they'll wait and try again or go after other family members. This might be our only chance to catch the entire network. Travis was already considering what would it involve. We set up surveillance around the property. You go to the house as planned, but with full FBI protection. When they make their move, we take them down. And if something goes wrong? Bryn asked. If something goes wrong, innocent people die. Not just your family, but other families this network is targeting. We found evidence of at least 12 active cases. Travis looked at Bryn and Meadow, then made his decision. We'll do it. Travis, no, Bryn protested. It's too dangerous. Bryn, family protects family. And if we can stop these people from hurting other children like Meadow, we have to try. 2 hours later, they drove through the gates toward a beautiful colonial house that had waited 15 years for its rightful owners. The property was everything his mother had described. Large, secure, perfect for a family. But Travis could see FBI surveillance teams positioned throughout the neighborhood. This family reunion was about to become a battlefield. I'm scared, Meadow whispered. You know what? Travis said, picking her up. I'm scared too. But being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means doing the right thing even when you're scared. Like when I went to sell roses? Exactly. You were scared, but you wanted to help your mom. That's what heroes do. They entered the house together, and despite everything, Travis felt profound rightness. This was where Bryn and Meadow belonged. For 30 minutes, it felt like a normal family gathering. Meadow explored with wide-eyed wonder, claiming the bedroom with the windows. Bryn marveled at the kitchen and garden. Then the motion sensors began triggering alerts. Agent Martinez's voice crackled through Travis's earpiece. Multiple vehicles approaching. At least 8 individuals, all armed. This is it. Meadow! Bryn! Travis called, keeping his voice calm. Come here, please. They gathered in the living room, fear visible in both faces. In about 2 minutes, some bad people are going to try to come into this house. But there are good people outside protecting us. I need you both to go into the basement safe room and stay there until I come get you. What about you? Bryn asked. I'm going to help the FBI keep those bad people from getting to you. No! Meadow cried, clinging to his leg. Don't leave us. Travis hugged her tightly. I'm not leaving you, sweetheart. I'm protecting you. There's a difference. Breaking glass sounded from somewhere in the house. Go! Now! Travis urged. The next 20 minutes were chaos. FBI agents moved through the house in coordinated sweeps, while criminals tried to locate their target. Travis found himself face to face with 2 armed men in the kitchen, his football training serving him well, as he tackled one and disarmed the other. Where's the kid? One demanded, pressing a gun to Travis's head. You'll never find her, Travis replied. Before the situation could escalate, FBI agents burst in and took down both criminals. Mr. Kelce, are you injured? Agent Martinez asked. I'm fine. Are they all in custody? All 8 suspects are down. We got the leadership coordinating from outside, too. Travis felt overwhelming relief. It's over? The immediate threat is over. Your family is safe. Travis ran to the basement and found Bryn and Meadow huddled in the safe room. Meadow still clutching her wilted roses. It's over, he confirmed, and finally believed it. 6 months later, on a sunny Saturday, Travis stood in the backyard watching Meadow play in the pool with his nephew. Her hair had grown back curly and golden after completing cancer treatment, and her latest reports showed complete remission. Bryn emerged carrying lemonade, her face relaxed and happy. The stress lines had faded, and she'd gained healthy weight since moving to Kansas City. The FBI called this morning, she said. The last of the network was sentenced yesterday, 12 years in federal prison. Good, Travis said, watching Meadow perform an elaborate cannonball. And Dr. Peterson says Meadow's cancer markers are the best since diagnosis. 2 more years in remission, and she'll be considered cured. They sat watching their children play. Meadow had become fully integrated into the Kelce family, calling Travis's parents Grandma and Grandpa. You know what's strange? Bryn said. If Meadow had never gotten sick, I never would have been struggling. If I hadn't been struggling, she never would have tried to sell roses. If she hadn't been selling roses, we never would have met you. Travis considered this. So you're saying her cancer was a blessing? No, Bryn said firmly. Her cancer was horrible, but her courage in dealing with that's what saved us. That's what brought us home. Travis, Meadow called from the pool. Come swimming. In a minute, he called back, then turned to Bryn. She wants to be a doctor when she grows up. Says she wants to help other kids with cancer. Of course she does. She's going to change the world. She already has, Travis replied, thinking about the other families saved when the network was dismantled. As he stood to join his family, Travis reflected on how a simple encounter had led to all this. He'd thought he was buying roses, but instead found his family, stopped criminal, and discovered what it meant to be a hero. Real heroes weren't people who scored touchdowns. They were 8-year-old girls selling roses for their treatment and single mothers working multiple jobs to save their children. "The pool is calling your name," Meadow called with mock impatience. "I'm coming, sweetheart," he laughed, jumping in. Surrounded by his family's laughter, Travis knew this was what his great-grandmother had dreamed of. She'd wanted to bring her family home, and finally, after 15 years, she had. The roses were gone, but the family they'd brought together would bloom forever.